Hey guys, how's it going? It's Logan here with Hydra 572. Today I'm going to be reviewing the CRKT Nirk Tighe. So again, I'll start at the tip. Tip is a little bit narrow. I wish they would have made it a little more broad, just because it wasn't going to be a very high penetration design anyway. And I feel like they could have made it a little more sturdy with a little more metal there at the tip. Belly, obviously it's got plenty with the recurve design. The blade profile, I thought it was awesome. I just think that's a great looking and a great performing blade design. I think you're going to get a lot of cutting power with the recurve. The grind is hollow, which makes sense with this sort of design. Steel is Aus 8, which is decent for the money. I'll say I wish they would use a little bit of a better steel. Maybe just a slightly more expensive steel. VG10 comes to mind. The retention was fine, not a problem. Sharpening, no problem. You do have to pay attention though due to the recurve. You have to keep the edge itself at a 90-degree angle to the stone. So it does take a little bit longer than knives with a longer section of flat edge, but it comes with the territory. The deployment, you have primarily the flipper here. So there's that. I used the zip ties for a wave modification. I had to use 2 of the smaller zip ties to get it to work on this knife. It was kind of a pain, but after getting that to work, it works pretty well. It's still not 100% like some of the Spydercos are, but it works alright. You can get a rotational flip opening. It's just not very easy. It's not quick either. The cutouts work decent as thumb studs. I can't get them to flip open, but just as far as doing that, that's fine. So the speed, it's alright. It's not a super fast, super reliably fast deploying knife. The lock, you've got the unconventional Keckler Nirk lock. So if you look, this entire slab here is one piece of steel minus the pocket clip, so I guess this is all one piece of steel. You open and close the knife. Well, you open it just by flipping the thumb stud, but you close it by depressing this little back section here, which lifts this off, little divot in the blade, and then it's free to open and close. It's cool. It does sort of lend some problems to the knife that I feel like they wouldn't have had if they had gone with a liner lock or a back lock, more conventional system, but that is one of the main design tenets of this knife, is having this lock. Play, you've got some side-to-side play, and it took me a long time to figure out because I was tightening the hell out of the pivot and it still was having side-to-side play. It's not actually the blade that has play, it's the back spacer bar. And it's in your hand. The back, this part of the handle moves on the blade stock, which makes it feel like it has side-to-side play. Now it's still, as far as in conjunction with the pivot, it does have some play when it's loose enough to be opened quickly in my mind. So that's one of the problems that's going to come with a new lock. They haven't ironed out all the kinks yet, in my opinion. The handle, as you can see, it's got this beautiful blue coating down in there. That is a powder coating. They coat the whole handle and then they abrade it off the outer part so it just stays in on the divots. I think it's beautiful. It's it is stainless steel. Not a whole lot of traction, but we're headed into ergos anyway. So I thought for ergos it has pretty poor radiusing, I think, on the insides of these curves. I think it can definitely irritate your hand. And retention, it's not bad because you've got the choil and the divot, well, I'm calling this one a choil and this one a fingered divot. So the retention isn't bad, but you've got no traction plan anywhere on the knife. It's not, they didn't design it as a fighting knife, that's pretty clear. I always feel like when we've got the first 2 divots for our fingers, we might as well just go ahead and add the next 2. I just always feel like that would feel better. It feels kind of awkward having your first 2 fingers sink in and your second 2 have to stay out. It's just personal preference. Jimping, you've got none, and even before I put the zip ties here, this little section of blade here wasn't a great thumb ramp. It's kind of back into ergos, but oh well. Lanyard hole, yep, my little amateur lanyard on there. As far as presentation, I'm speaking directly CRKT here. Loctite. Now. On everything. Every CRKT knife I've had has had major problems with no Loctite, so the pivots loosen up really quick, even the handle screws loosen up, the pocket clip loosens up. It's ridiculous. You guys are professional knife makers, you know this. Please, Loctite, okay? besides that, it was plenty sharp, and it was a really beautiful knife. Is a really beautiful knife. Yeah, Loctite, please. A lot of people don't know to do that. They'll just think, wow, the screws are loose all the time. The screws, I thought the pivot screw was pretty cool. The rest of the screws are fine. They're all Torx. And just because we're on screws again, Loctite. It's a problem. Yeah, I'll talk about that in the rest of my CRKT videos as well. The clip, flip it around. It's fine. It's a deep carry clip. No problems with it. Usage, I mainly bought this as a collection knife. Like I said, it is beautiful. EDC, yeah, sure. You could definitely EDC this knife. It's got some problems. Like I said, it's not a very quickly, reliably opening knife. With the zip ties, you can get it open quick. It's just not 100%. So the overview, definitely a cool collection knife. For $95, if you were just planning on making it an EDC knife, I'd say you could do better. But if you're buying it just because it looks awesome and it's an unconventional lock and you'll be the only one of your friends that has one, so that's great reasoning. It's a great knife. Pass, fail. With collection interest, definitely a pass. Without it, still maybe a pass, but not as much for sure. Then my little specifications corner. Blade length, 3.875 inches. Blade thickness, 1.12 inches. Weight, 5.1 ounces. Overall length, 9.12 inches. On Blade HQ, it's $94.95 plus shipping and handling. On eBay, it is $80. And now that I've gone through the entire review, I might as well say I'm talking about the model 5250, the full-sized one. So I assume most of the things I said hang true for the smaller ones. They're Tighe 2 and everything, but this is the one I bought. So there was that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. I do think it's a cool knife. So yeah. Stay tuned for more of the same.